Welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase. Okay, so last time we were out building Big Bro Steel, and we made a enhancement to our supply train to help this happen. Basically what we did was, not that, we did this little mechanism here that took input, divided it into input that requests that were going to be less than 100 per chest, and just flowed that straight out, and requests that were greater than 100, it turned them into 1, then multiplied them by 100 to make them exactly 100, so that no request was ever greater than 100, so that these chests wouldn't congest. And that worked like a dream. We had no congestion with the chests. But what we did have was serious shortages of construction bots and beacons, and so the actual build of the two huge assembly, or these things, which obviously haven't been properly named yet, but these things, Iron 3 and Big Bro Steel. Look at them. Thing of beauty when you look at them from this distance. But yeah, the beacons just took rather a long time to build because I was waiting on them individually building, and that's no good. So what I did to try and help was, these are all buffer chests. So I have changed, let's get out of map mode. I've changed these so that it requests from buffer chests. So that it can request from these, and these basically the amounts that's being requested divided by 50 gets requested immediately into these buffer chests. I am not sure, but I'm hoping that that deducts off the amount the network thinks it already has. So for example, we have 1.0 1000 beacons. It's actually trying to build up to 1100, I think. I just want to check if I build a buffer chest, slap it down here, and request into it, say 200 beacons. I want to know whether, yes, it does. That does exactly what I wanted it to do, sort of. No, it doesn't. So yeah, you see how that worked? It because there was a request, it immediately reduced the amount by the request, and then it I don't want them, guys. I really don't. Not just at the moment. I'm trying to explain something. Can we stop with giving me the beacons? Thank you. So yeah, this doesn't actually do exactly what I want. I want it to create a request to build that it then follows through on, but obviously this is not exactly what I want, so I need to create a negative. Are we running with... No, we've got these guys on. I was wondering what was going on. I need to create a negative down here where we've got all the set requests in my make everything, so that when you lodge a request, I mean, these are already negatives, aren't they? These are the amounts that we want. Yeah, that's right. These are amounts that we want, so it gets multiplied here by -1. What I want to do is basically get a wire coming in here with the amount that's been requested, so that we double up on the build immediately for the full amount, rather than waiting to the end, if that makes sense. So, I think what I'll do is I will run a special big pole series, which I'll take that wire off because I do not want that wire on it. I could use these, I guess. get to there. I can't just go straight to that one. Can I put a big pole up here somewhere? Yes. Go away, guys. Right. So we'll run this wire up to here and then over to this guy. To this guy, to this guy. Where do we want to go? We want to go all the way along. I want to connect up to that guy, basically. Oh, except... No, I'm going to have a combinator between me and this guy, because I don't want to pollute this network with the order value. So, I'm not sure if I'm making sense or not. Let's see, can I reach that guy? I can. I'll just get an arithmetic combinator here that will be take that one off. Can this reach? Probably not. No, we won't have the arithmetic combinator there. Okay, so this guy will go all the way back to there. So that picks up all of the demand. We'll then have another one here. Get rid of the other wires. Put in an arithmetic combinator just here. This is just so we don't get feedback going back into the supply request from the storage in our make everything. That's the sole reason for this guy's existence, and that will come up to here. And basically it will be each plus 0 output each. And these signals are coming from the request over here. They're then being fed over this network to here, which then is multiplied by -1, which then results in product being built to bring it up to 0. And in that way, when we do an order, we'll immediately start building all of it, which is kind of what I wanted in the first place. I think I might leave the buffer chests there though, because that sort of helps bring it's like a pre-fetch. Now, the other thing that we can do though is we can say, well, obviously we're not building enough beacons if we potentially need 3100. That was it, wasn't it? Yep. If we potentially need 3100, only having 1100 in supply is bunk. Let's make it 3100. And the other thing was the construction bots. We weren't making enough construction bots. Let's boost that up to 2000. Just so that we have enough. Now, how are things going generally? I think we should look at power. Let's look at power. We are using 10.6 gigawatts to do nothing. And it's because of these beacons. 20,000 beacons each at almost half a megawatt each means 10 gigawatts. Doing nothing. And we really are doing nothing. See? Nothing. Nothing. That is nothing. So, it makes it hard to expand further with these stacks, since each one is going to add 1.6 gigawatts. We need to accelerate what we're building here. before we can do so. I don't want to have to put more nuclear back in, but I guess that is the other option. I suppose what I could do is start just pushing out this way, closing off all of these patches, which we can then come back to. We can draw lines through the solar like I have here. No reason why you can't do that. If we just zoom right in, you can see that all of the wires are interconnecting. We made a hole that just trimmed some solar panels and a few of the accumulators, just enough to fit a pathway through, and everything still works fine. The ratio doesn't matter. I mean, it's not exact anyway, because it's only exact if every side wall is completely enclosed, like for example around that one, all of these walls share the accumulators. That makes it exact, otherwise it's not exact, but that just means we store more energy relative to the total throughput than we'd otherwise require. So yes, I think because of our massive need, I'm just going to have to basically landfill in a whole bunch of this terrain and just keep pushing out sideways a whole lot more, as well as continuing up. I don't know what's beyond this stuff, but we seem to have run into a wealth of ore, like 282 million there, 355 iron right next to, well, 38, don't forget the 38, so almost 400 million iron just there. Here's another 55,000 oil patch, so you just need to travel some distance out and you get huge patches. So obviously you could do this without mining productivity research, but the mining productivity research that we'll do is, and another 44, is mainly so that our miners can be more effective, and we'll need less miners in the mines. I'm not going to do this at the moment. What I am going to do is, for this episode, we will build what we need to here to basically enable turning it on. We'll probably run out of time first, but I basically want to set up mines on some of this iron. In fact, what I might do is I might prioritize trying to clear these iron patches. I don't think I've got much chance of clearing them in the sort of time frame that I want. This one here, remember when that was 40 million? It's 6.5 million now, which is why we started up the second landfill patch. We may actually need to start looking for a third landfill patch, and certainly anything that could be considered in the way of the landfill expansion would be prioritized as far as being deemed landfill. But there really isn't a whole lot. So yes, that's what we're going to do. We are going to set up mining operations, maybe just on these three. I was going to go to this one, but if I clear these along with that, I then have a okay area here for building something. I actually have something in mind, but let's not worry about that just yet. The engineering train has not been hooked up to this sort of stuff, so that's okay. What we are going to need, we are currently empty. What we're going to need is the, make sure that one's off, that's the generic one. What's in there? Miners, that is the one that we want, and we have those. Good. Let's get the mining loadout onto our train. Not exactly sure when I started, but I know that I've been doing a bit of waffle, so that takes up a bit of time. The other thing with these builds that we've done is this one that's reversed has actually had all of the trains around all of the stations around the wrong way, and of course all of the signals are now around the wrong way. This one down here, which will be the steel, is fine. The other thing with the steel is this fuel stop is not going to make sense, so I think I'll just remove it. The way this is going to work is basically this will have a disconnected access to the iron that is processed, the raw iron ore. The iron plate will then virtually all of it, when everything's in full flight, will come down here to Big Bro Steel. There is the possibility of sending some to the rest of the factory if needed, but pretty much all of it will come over here. Big Bro Steel is, well, this is its feed. If it needs iron from somewhere else in the factory, it could get it via this link. It doesn't need to connect to any of these other patches, and it will just flow. It doesn't need this connection at all. I'll probably actually eliminate that part. So it will just flow out this long bridge. I did a slightly different design here. I thought, why not? It sort of looks, it doesn't look great, but it looks slightly better than this one, so I might change this one to this sort of pattern for radar and some lights just to be pretty on the way through. And let's see how our loadout's going. It's done bar the radars. I always do want radars, so do I want to wait a couple of seconds for those to load in? Where am I actually? Oh, map view. I don't want map view. Oh, there I am. And we're done. Okay, let's jump on board. We want to go to Iron Smelting 3, which is not a short journey. It's a reasonably significant journey. Let's hope we don't have a blockage up here. I think it's fairly clear. No, I'm wrong, of course, because I should have resolved this a long time ago. Alright, basically we'll do our usual trick. Why don't you go to coal 5, make some space, and we'll just squeeze on through. Thanks. And it's not like it really causes any great drama, and we're just really biding time for these patches to die off. Oh, there is another thing that I want to do, and that is this iron here. There's this one little bit of iron left, and that was because a Roboport was sitting there while the rest of the patch got depleted. So I was going to come along here and slap down multiple miners and beacons around it to get rid of it a bit faster, but I guess I'll do that between episodes now. Anyway, here we are. We're in the last stretch, coming down to what will be called Iron 3. Not that it's the third iron, but because it is the second iron, and we're using odd numbers for iron. But let's go to manual so that we can keep going up here, because I don't want to go down there. I want to come up here to where I have deliberately broken the connection, and we will re-establish the connection. It will stay re-established until we have built our smelting operations. Whoops, that bit can't stay. What's the problem there? Oh, there's a bit of stone. Alright, well, pick up the stone, guys. And yeah, these stations are... That one's on the correct spot. That is not. Did I fix it up? I think I already have fixed this one up. That doesn't need to be there. So, that's the refueling for this independent network. We're going to have to move this. We don't need that because it can use this. Right, now what we want to do is we are actually going to need some landfill, I think. That would be my background application finished. I just want to see what this is doing. 8. We're doing nothing, and our updates are taking 8.6, 8.7. It's kind of scary. I don't know why the electric network is so expensive. I mean, we've got a ton of electric network connections, but that seems excessive for doing nothing. Yeah, if we're to make a path up here, it is going to need some landfill through here. So let us go and call the landfill train. Come down to landfill Big Bro Steel, which is just out here. When it gets there we can probably bring it over, but in the meantime what I want is, this was radars I set up to help try and explore the area. It was partially successful. Let's just grab that. I think what I want is my good rail, and we will put in a 4-4 junction here. Which means that I need to clear out these signals. Because in the first instance we are going to put absolutely everything through this junction. How are we going for resources? I don't see a whole lot of chain signals, so let's grab some more. This looks like an excessive number of lights. As much as lights are cool, we don't need that many. Oh, we probably need to go back to build configuration. For optimal build performance. This certainly uses one hell of a lot of signals, especially the chain signals. So let's grab some more. How are our normal? They're going fine. We will need a bunch of those. We're probably short of lights. We don't want to be short of lights. Being short of lights is always bad. Now, I guess my strategy with this build is that I want to ensure that the copper supplies are accessible to a smelter stack for copper that's built down here, because I think I will be building a copper stack down here as well, and it will be accessing all these coppers. I'll kind of thread access down from here for iron and from up here for copper. So with priority we'll probably want to clear out these ones so that we can send tendrils down to pick up these perhaps. My general idea. And I would like to explore over here because quite possibly eventually we'll want to come up here to access some of these. We may actually get through the entire game without even needing some of this stuff. Once we have productivity research to support a higher level of production off the same amount of ore. Okay, so there is no copper here, so we are safe to kind of come up with our 4x4 here. Our landfill train is here. Let me just see if I can actually get a section of 4 down. How far does this go? That looks good. Another one. Yep. Where does this place us on the map? Just there. Okay, so I kind of want to probably fill in this chunk here, which I will do as soon as we've finished this bit up here. Alright, come back to me, guys. Let's just swap back to fast legs. Fill in these bits. Anything else we've missed? For some reason the wires haven't connected there. I guess we will shoot them over, because as you know, wires are very useful. Now, let's see, I will drive the train out to the landfill train, drive the landfill train in. That's not going to work. I don't know why I thought it would. Let's come this way. Oh. Didn't actually expect there to be... It's good that we're testing the line there, and that was deliberate. We're just testing the line to make sure that everything's working, guys. Right, let's jump in here. Well, no, wrong direction. We want to go this way, yes. And good, we just go around in a circle there. Well, oh no, this is where we want to go. Cool. Through our exchange up here to where Big Bro Landfill is. Along with the landfill train, now we'll just change over to the landfill train, go into manual mode, and try and drive. You can certainly notice a difference in the performance characteristics, partly because we just use rocket fuel on this train, and partly because it's 383 as opposed to 242. The multiplication is not quite the same, otherwise it would be 484 if we had actually created a fair increase in locomotives to wagons. So for two reasons it's a little bit more sluggish, but that's okay. We'll get there in the end. I guess I could have just put a stop up here, but I probably have too many of them sitting around the factory in places that I no longer need them, so I'm a little bit hesitant just to keep slapping more down, but never mind. Let's just get rid of our stuff. And load up on landfill. Now, I probably don't actually need to landfill everything here, but whoops, let's get a proper pattern. It's as big as I can get it. We just need to go to the top of where all of this iron is. And no doubt I'll speed a whole lot of this up because it's boring watching landfill. That is definitely far enough. if that's all we need to do, then yeah. The rest of the landfill is kind of surplus to requirements. Building configuration. We're about to get into the tree zone. Fun with trees. Oh dear. Alright, never mind. Let's just punch a hole through these trees. The bots do a better job if you pre-remove the trees. Just they don't go out going, oh, I can't put this train track down. Think of removing the trees first. Something like that. Yeah, we need some more track. Now, what do we want to do? No, that's a mining pattern. How big is our... That's the pattern that we want. Let's go back to our ever helpful zoom tool. So, there I am, little midget me. I'm not even sure if I'll show up on, well, certainly not a mobile device, but midget me. Rotate, so we're on the wrong side there, but I guess we can always flick it over. I don't want these, I don't want to do that, but this will be gone in the not too distant future. That works quite well for me, for one. We might have to move that over a bit though. So if I was to do that, then how would we get another one in here? Whatever I do, I look like I'm going to be on that coal. But, is that okay? It might be okay. On the basis that these will clear out, and then we can remove them, and the coal will be available for a future accessing. Just want to go in a little bit. I guess something like that is what we all want. Now let's go back in a lot. So we're normal sort of range. Still, I like to be really far zoomed out, so we're still fairly small. This guy I want the corner piece for. If we go there, do we miss up above? Yes, we do, but only just. But only just is good enough. So then let's come up here. Yeah, that's perfect. That's every bit as much as we needed. we've still got the slow walkers on, yes. So we'll do the same thing over here. No, that's not what I want to do. This. Get back to the straight. And a 2 T-junction up here. Get rid of some foliage. It's not going to fit exactly, but we can do something to sort that out. Yeah, we'll work out how we're going to do that. Where am I? I'm way up there. Okay, these ones have to go. And can we connect the track? No, you cannot. Maybe we just rip it all out and come down. Do our corner slightly further over. Alright, then a little zigzag move. So let's go back to the corner. We'll just do that. I don't think I really want you. This is just for a radar that's probably redundant right now. Whoops, how did that happen? Q to regain control of our track. We'll rewire that later. Now this one up here, it's basically the same sort of deal. What we're aiming to do is drive past the top side of this iron and then join up with the this line here. Get rid of some foliage. Right, that looks like it joins up like so. Time for some dumping of foliage. And we need a little bit more rail, not that much more fortunately. Down to this bit. Actually, I would like to get rid of a bit of that as well, just to make this connection a little bit easier. There we go. Now, finally, let's just finish up. I probably won't build the whole thing on screen right now, but I will slap down a blueprint just to get it sort of to build ready state and finish it off probably between episodes so that we're good to go. Basically, this pattern gives us our 128 for 8 trains, so let's use that. Are they all on. Yep, okay. So that's one. Was I going to deploy to both of these? That's the other question that I can't remember just at the moment. Not sure. This one looks like it's going to need a little bit more work to be positioned with enough miners, but that's okay. Let us first of all get rid of all these trees. And then get a whole lot more trees, because we will get rid of all of this, which is clearly in our way, and of course all of this as well, which is clearly in our way. I don't actually want this thing going through here anymore. That just does not work for me at all. We'll slap down this pattern. Quite a lot of it is not going to hit the thing here, but once they're all down, I can put a blueprint over it to count and add a few more to sort it out. So that's 2. We need 3. Do I just make this a T-junction, wrap round here, and make that the 3rd? Oh, that's the 3rd. Yeah. We know which one's the 3rd. Alright, let's punch through to the 3rd one, and then I'll fix it all up between episodes. Not being sure how long we've already been. Come on. Back there it goes. So that's okay, because I mean, it's the same thing. We're just going to come over here, we're going to plant this blueprint down somewhere, maybe along there, connect it up. We just want to make sure that we don't have interconnected robo ports coming out to this one. And then I will fill out these mines and set them up in the same way as our copper that we did way over here, which is still not active. So basically with a stamped out extra blueprint and an alarm to say if once you have too many miners, to sound out an alarm. And of course, when we do our productivity research, we will be able to reconfigure how many miners per train that we employ. So that's the general idea. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.